Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 2021 Co-op Career Mode Season 5 with me, Dan, for the penultimate race in Australia. It's not the finale for once, we are in fact going to Jeddah for the finale. It's a crazy race, don't forget to stick around until Friday to watch that, and hopefully come Monday we'll be starting with a My Team career or something along those lines. Anyway, so this race, it's featured as a finale in the past few seasons. It's been absolutely crazy. Most of the time I don't finish the race. Maybe I can actually get to the checkered flag this time. And, well, the championship's already over, as we know, so no one's going for it this time. Don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as well, so you know when the final race is uploaded of the season, as we move on to the starting grid order. And for the penultimate race, it is a Red Bull front row lockout with Lando Norris and George Russell, followed by Charles Leclerc and Yuki Tsunoda in both of the Mercedes. Behind them we have Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly breaking the trend of the 2x2s. Pierre Gasly now world champion, of course. Then Nicolas Latifi and Lance Stroll in P8, and running out the top 10 it's Antonio Giovinazzi and Valtteri Bottas doing quite well in the Alfa Romeo. Guan Yu Zhou lines up in P11 alongside Max Verstappen in an incredible qualifying for the Ferrari driver. Justin Freshbot P13 alongside Esteban Ocon in his Alpine. Then it's Robert Schwartzman. He's alongside Radiant Slothz in the other Ferrari. Not so great for him. We have the two Haas cars of Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin on the penultimate row. And finally, Daniel Ricciardo and Sergio Perez with penalties. Let's get on with this race. And here we go, the lights are coming on for the penultimate race of the co-op career. As we get away, it's a good start from the Red Bulls and the Mercedes. It's absolute chaos in the background. We're on board with Justin Freshbot as we go down to turn 1. Radiant Sloth's not making up too many positions. That is the Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas getting past Justin Freshbot into turn 1 there. He's going to come back at him into that part of the chicane there, or very long chicane, part of the track that has changed for the 2022 season. Hopefully we'll see in the not too distant future as we come down into more parts of the track which are going to be changing relatively soon. Radiant Sloth's on the scoreboard, you can see dropping down the order. He's down in 19th now, unsurprisingly, as Justin Freshbot gets over the grass a little bit there, and he comes around along this what will be an extremely fast section of the new circuit with Valtteri Bottas closely in pursuit, and it's not looking like a great one. Oh, Justin Freshbot's lost the rear. He's lost the rear of his car. He's spinning all over. Oh, he's nearly heading out for a barrel. There's been a massive accident. We've lost several cars. We've got a safety car out. There's a Haas going all over the place right now. That's Sergio Perez getting through the wreckage.
Box.
Yeah, he will be boxing. We've lost multiple cars there in what can only be described as a chaotic end to lap 1. This is the onboard of the start. We'll get to the incident in just a moment. You can see Justin Freshbot launches past Verstappen and Guan Yu Zhou into the top 10 nearly. There's Bottas up the inside. He nearly bins it into the side of the Alfa Romeo. Coming down this straight here, we've got Guan Yu Zhou up his outside. He goes down the inside of Bottas, gets the position back. Thought he was going to lose the rear end a little bit there, have a bit of a moment, but he managed to get round it okay. This was Radiant Sloth's starting P16. Not a great start for him, but you know, we've come to expect that by now. There's a Haas on his outside. He goes for a dive bomb, but gets cut off also by an Alfa Romeo. And unfortunately, his entry into turn 1 was not so graceful. There is that Ocon or Perez on his left-hand side. He tries to go down the inside of Verstappen, who's lost multiple positions, but can't quite get the position. Gets overtaken by an Alpine, and now he's got Daniel Ricciardo sat behind him. Has a bit of a moment there as we come down towards the right-hander. He's been hit from behind by Daniel Ricciardo, and, well, that will explain why he's down in 19th place as we go on board. This is the incident. Justin Freshbot takes way too much off of that corner, loses the car completely and drifts back onto the circuit, causing a massive accident. Cars going everywhere. That is Mick Schumacher potentially dead. And, well, Justin Freshbot continues on his way with no issues at all. This is Sergio Perez's perspective. He's going past Schumacher now, or at least trying to. Takes a much clearer eye. There's the smoke up ahead, completely blind. He just rear ends Mick Schumacher into the back of Max Verstappen. And Sergio Perez carries on his way. This was Radiant Slothz not involved in the incident, but instead crashing into the home favourite, Daniel Ricciardo, probably in revenge for what he did earlier. As we see, this is Justin Freshbot's pit stop. He has served a penalty, but given that he appears to be the only one that has come in, unless we see Perez go past in a moment, he may be the only one that's actually served the penalty. Yeah, well, with no side of Perez, given that he's still behind him, they must both be in. But safety cars out, penalties have been served, and we've lost both Haas and both Ferraris. As we get on with the restart, what can Justin Freshbot do in what is allegedly the second or third best car on the grid? He has a massive moment into turn one. Going into turn two, that's allowed Perez to close up behind. It's going to be a race down to turn three, but he does cut him off, locks up, and Perez causes a few lockups on his car as well. Dropping back slightly from Esteban Ocon, although at this point in the race, he only has to take it easy and just take it home to the finish because he has had his stop. Perez getting a little dicey behind him and trying to find a little gap to sneak up through, but it's only cost him time. As we rejoin on lap 7, Justin Freshbot not able to get past up till this point. Lots of cars into the pit lane. He's chasing down Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon all over the place. He's known for weaving around, drunk as usual. And now he's going to get in the way of his teammate and potentially crash into him. Justin Freshbot up to 8th place with the pit stops going on at the same time. And that is that Esteban Ocon loses the position to his teammate Sergio Perez, which is undoubtedly going to happen anyway because Ocon has not come in for his stop yet. This was the onboard of Esteban Ocon acting like a maniac. There it goes. Moved across in the braking zone. Disgusting from the Frenchman. Justin Freshbot held his ground and threw it around the outside. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. As we see Justin Freshbot coming around the final corner. We've got Guan Yu Zhou, I think that is. Yeah, we've got several other cars in the pit lane. Justin Freshbot leaps up the order. And he's going to be racing with George Russell at pit exit. Going into turn 1, there he is. Antonio Giovinazzi remains the only car not to pit, which means net P1 for Justin Freshbot, pursued by George Russell. And caught by George Russell, it would seem, as Russell power slides it round the corner. Justin Freshbot backing him up into Sergio Perez, knowing that Perez does have a car that may be able to get past, or at least hold up Russell and give the Williams a chance to escape. As he comes around to this corner, he'll be hoping not to screw it up again. He keeps it together this time, but he's got Perez and Russell behind with DRS. Perez trying to go past the Williams instead of the Red Bull. Perez up into first for a second on net P1. He does get past Russell, as does Ocon, incredibly. Perez retakes third place from Ocon. And now Lando Norris is up into the mix as well. We've got a multi-car battle for the win, spanning 3 different teams. This is incredible. If the Mercedes can get in there as well, even better. Well, there they are, actually. They may be in with a shot here, but that car has not been competitive since one of the early updates of this game, and they've just not been able to do particularly well, even in the hands of Justin Freshbot in the start of the season. But anyway, here we go. Second round. Sergio Perez defends from George Russell. Esteban Ocon defends from Lando Norris. He blocks him. Both Alpines remaining ahead of their respective competitors. Unfortunately, though, it looks like George Russell is closing up on the back of the Mexican. Justin Freshbot trying to eke out a lead, but he's not able to get that 1 second gap to the car behind, and it's going to cost him. It's helping Sergio Perez an awful lot here to stay ahead of George Russell. As you see both Red Bulls going for a move at the same time, it cuts away in an incredible move from the Australian media. It looks as though they're side by side. No, Perez has taken the place. Lando Norris has managed to get past Esteban Ocon as well. But we rejoin a bit later on, and it looks as though Russell has got past, and now it is down to Justin Freshpot and his skill as a defender, dirty as it may be, to try and keep George Russell behind him for just 4 more laps. It might not be enough though. George Russell goes to the outside. He gets the squeeze by Justin Freshpot. He is down the outside, but a lock-up from Justin Freshpot pushes him into the side of the Red Bull. There is contact. There's contact again. We have multiple times seen contact from Justin Freshpot at that corner on this circuit when he tries to be overtaken by someone, and Justin Freshpot will be reprimanded by the FIA. They're not going to deal out a penalty because they don't want to risk the backlash, but let's go on board. There's the squeeze, so he bumps wheels with Russell, then locks up into the side of the car, drifts onto the grass, and then here blocks him on the outside. There's a bump there. George Russell not going to be particularly happy with that. He's come into the pits, so that is damage. That is race over for George Russell. What could have been back-to-back wins off of Brazil has just turned into a very painful pit and drop down into the back quarter of the field. He may even rejoin behind Carlos Sainz in last position. And now we see Justin Freshpot. 3 laps to go. Chased down by Lando Norris. It didn't take long for him to be caught. The Williams not quite as competitive as it once was. As Russell, Norris has hit him! Oh, they've had a massive accident! Justin Freshpot into the gravel. He looks to be okay, he's carrying on, but both cars are now going to be dropping down the order like stones. There we go, Valtteri Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo managed to get past. Here comes Guan Yu Zhou, and it's out of the top 10 for Justin Freshpot and Lando Norris. Robert Schwartzman gets past as well. Justin Freshpot, unbelievable. The lead was there, the victory in hand, and he is absolutely binned it. And now he's blocking Norris. They're having a fight down the straight. Parts of the front wing of the Red Bull coming off all over the place. Justin Freshpot doing his best to keep his composure, but it's not working. He's gone wide onto the grass. Let's go and look at the replay. And it deflected straight off of the Red Bull. Both of them losing bits of their front wing. The whole wing coming off for Justin Freshpot, and thanks to all of the backing up he's done, everyone's got past him. This is on board with Norris, weaving all over the place, puts a wheel on the grass. So
Box.
Team Radio, incredible. Norris, definitely putting a wheel on the grass there, probably unnecessarily. And this was the replay of the Red Bull front wing being destroyed by the Williams. As we come into the pit lane, it appears as though Justin Freshpot has been dealt a penalty for insubordination. Front wing goes on, amazingly, isn't already on the car, which is quite surprising for Team Williams. But they pull away in last place. We're going to replay of Norris. And he's lost power. That is a 5th retirement from the Grand Prix for Lando Norris. He pulls off to the side, and after a troublesome race with Justin Freshpot, has to take the long walk back to the pit lane. Justin Freshpot, 1 lap to go. He's slowing down, allowing the leader Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, he's not allowing the Yuki Tsunoda to get past. He doesn't have to complete lap 15, but he is going to get in everyone's way and just cause massive disruption. There is Sergio Perez, one of the men he was battling with earlier on. Pierre Gasly, the world champion, is alongside him. Oh, he's taking revenge. He's hitting the world champion. But they go across the line. And that's it. There's pieces of car going off in the background. What is going on here? Unbelievable stuff. Esteban Ocon picks up driver of the day. Not sure where he started. I know he finished 4th. But here we go. Mercedes picking up a win for the first time in quite a while. And it is, of course, Yuki Tsunoda, the man who joined Mercedes so long ago in Season 2, was incredibly overpowered, was nerfed by Codemasters, returns to the team and picks up yet another victory. And onto the podium he goes. He's looking super happy with that. There's Charles Leclerc, his teammate, previously at Haas for the start of this season, and moved across to Mercedes to a vastly superior team. Unfortunately, though, Esteban Ocon picking up one of Alpine's only podiums that we've seen so far, completely ignored in the background. That's all for the Australian Grand Prix. Let's get on with the scoreboards. And here we are with the final classification. Of course, you know it is a Mercedes 1-2 already, with Esteban Ocon taking the final position on the podium. Pierre Gasly follows, followed by Lance Stroll, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nicola Latifi, Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Guan Yu Zhou. Sergio Perez drops out of the points with a 5-second penalty. Moving on to the Drivers' Championship, of course we know who has won the championship already. It is, of course, Pierre Gasly, but Lando Norris retains second place. And third place, Antonio Giovinazzi leapfrogs George Russell by 2 points going into the season finale. He's followed by Lance Stroll, Nicolas Latifi, Justin Freshbot, Yuki Tsunoda, Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton, who retired midway through the season. Technically, though, Charles Leclerc is P10. Moving down the order, we have Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, Robert Schwartzman, Radiant Slothz, Sergio Perez, Nikita Mazepin, Guan Yu Zhou, Max Verstappen and Mick Schumacher. And moving on to the constructors, that must be it now for AlphaTauri to seal the title. They're followed by Red Bull, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Williams, Alfa Romeo, McLaren, and now no longer tied on 13 points apiece. Alpine have jumped up to 28 ahead of Ferrari and Haas. That's all for now. We'll catch you for the season finale in Jeddah.